From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Back again. You know what, boys? Back again.
Couple weeks.
It is. It's been a minute, but the good news is we're all wearing suits today of some form, which I like.
Sharp today. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. Everybody's rocking the suits
Colt was
today.
just fantasizing about a guy in his IG that I'm
God.
going to probably start following now. That guy was snappy dressed.
No, he was.
And handsome.
Dang.
Cigars, coffee. John, I got to show you this guy.
It's an Instagram picture. I don't know if I need to see some guy you're
page.
fantasizing about. Welcome to The Power Move. My name is John Gafford. I am your host. On this show, we talk about how to become a better you. Actually, you know what's funny, man? That's what we're really going to talk about today. But first of all, welcome to the Bulgarian mongoose called Amidan.
I didn't save this guy's.
I
didn't save his Instagram.
He's looking for some dude on Instagram.
Dude,
he's
this
fiending
guy.
over.
Just Google desert, reading GQ in a white suit in the desert.
And that's it.
This guy was something else, Sean.
How
How are you guys?
We're good. How are you, counselor? Welcome back.
Good, living the dream.
From our surf and safari that we went on last week. Thank you guys for accompanying me on surf safari, which was always fun.
Was that a whole week ago?
Yeah, we left. Yeah, we were down there a week ago today. We were
Feels
there
like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I know. We were down there last week. That was fun. Time goes faster as you get older.
older.
It does. Remember we were a little kid and
Have we talked about this?
I don't know if we talked about it, but Christmas would take like years to get there, and now you blink and it's like a year goes by.
Yeah, perceptive time, 0 to 18 is the same psychologically as 18 to 80.
Okay.
So you think that you're halfway through your life at 40 or whatever?
Yeah.
You're halfway through your life at 18, so do it now because you're perceptive, because experience speeds time up, right? Because if you know what's coming, you know what to expect, you get in the doldrums, you go through your life, all of a sudden you whip through 25 years of your life without realizing that, that shit just happened.
In just a second.
Yeah, so you're there's ways to slow it down. New experiences, learning difficult things, putting yourself in difficult situations will give you a longer life perceptively.
Yeah. Did you see the thing about the Dana White guy that now I'm obsessed with, the 10X Health guy? Did you see this? Did you see the Dana White thing? So Dana White had this guy on, Gary Beckler, I think his name is, and didn't have him on, but he was on a podcast and was talking about him. And this is a cat that owns, I guess Grant Cardone has not bought it. It's called 10X Health, where this cat can come and give you a blood test and a DNA test, and then tell you how, based on those results, how long you have to live. Because he is his main thing was he worked for an insurance company as an actuary expert, and he's like, when they're issuing these hundreds of $1 million policies on rich people, they don't care where you fall on the chart. They want to know how many months you got left on the planet. And he was talking. Dana White was being interviewed, and he was talking about this guy came and they were in Miami, and the guy came to the room, he did the blood test and did this, and he became obsessed with it. And the guy called him up and said, "I'm gonna fly to Vegas and tell you about it." And he flew out and told Dana White, he goes, "You got 10.4 years to live. That's it."
How old's Dana?
I don't know, gotta be 53, 54, whatever it is. And he goes, "But here's the deal." He goes, "If you do what I tell you to do in 10 weeks, I can turn it all the way around." And so Dana started doing what this guy said. And I guess he's lost 30 pounds in like 10 weeks. He says he's had trouble with his legs, like he could barely bend over, but no doctor knew what was wrong with him. He said that's cured up. No more sleep apnea, no more snoring, all of that's cleared up, all of this stuff. So now I'm become obsessed with this guy. So yesterday I ordered the genetic test from him. So I'm going to see what happens with the genetic test. But he also,
it's only 3 months.
We were talking, what's funny?
6 weeks ago.
Well, no, we were talking about this in Newport because this is the cat that also believes in like the oxygen training where they sell the oxygen machine where you do like the 15 of the 93 pure oxygen to kind of really get oxygen through every cell in your body and really hyper-oxygenate it. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to try to turn myself into a superhero.
It's better than just...
Yeah.
Drinking beer and eating McDonald's all day, I suppose. Gives you better odds.
It is. But speaking of making yourself a better human, so in case you didn't know, I'm actually in the process right now of writing a book about how to escape the drifts of life, the doldrums, whatever it is, those valleys in our life that keep you down. And so one of the things we're going to start doing on the podcast here is discussing some thoughts that I have going into each chapter and just some ideas that I have. Now, they are in no particular order. They're a little bit jumbled, but here's the thing. Today, we're going to talk about something kind of cool. Because in this chapter, in the old Bookaroo, we're talking about how to become a better you. And these are tips that I have and things that I've done in my life that will, if followed, I mean, they worked for me. I became a better me. I don't know how much better I was than before. No, I'm just kidding. I'm light years better than I was before. But yeah, these are things that I do, and I just want to hear what you guys think about it, which is good.
Becoming a better you.
Becoming a better you.
All these sheep start listening in.
Well, no, it's not about that. Not about that at all. Not about that at all. So, again, these are in no particular order. So I'm just going to start going through them. So the first thing, all right, is this: being impossible to be misunderstood by other people. And I think a lot of anxiety, a lot of problems, a lot of complications in your life are 100% self-generated because you become hard to understand. You don't have clarity in your requests from people. There's a lot of interpretation that goes on
Communication
through
skills.
text message communication skills. So one of the things that I started doing at a very early age, and it was great, especially if you're in sales, and this will make it very simple, is being very clear when you have conversations that involve relationship points, deal points, expectation points. So if I get off the phone with, say, a client, right, and we talk about, I'm going to do X, you're going to do Y. As soon as I get off the phone,
Email.
I go right to the email and I say, hey, to summarize that last meeting or that last conversation, I'm going to do X, you're going to do Y. And the reason why I do this is not because I think the person is silly, is because I think the person will forget in 3 months. And when they go back and they say, no, that's not what you said you were going to do. And that's not what you told me you wanted me to. I'm using the Bill Burr, like other guy voice now. That's not what you told me you wanted me to do. At this point you can just say, hey, refer back to the email on January the 15th.
And your lawyer will thank you.
And your lawyer will thank you. So be impossible to be misunderstood.
I love that. People always go, where you lay with Colt. And I don't think I have fake friends in a bathhouse. Usually off of Saturday. No, but I don't think I have. I don't have
The
fake
Marriott
friends.
Bonvoy. It's got a lot of points.
A lot of points. No, but I don't have any fake friends around me. I don't believe. Right? Like I don't have bad relationships around me. And like you, I just had this yesterday where I'm going back and forth with a couple of attorneys and didn't realize my client was on the thing. I had to get on phone like, hey, that email is going to sound really like I'm not working for you, but that was just a stupid thing they said. Let me explain why, right?
Yeah.
You got to get on, like you said, when you can just sit back and say, here's the email I sent you. Not only do they feel a little, they feel dumb, and then they're like,
Per
wow.
my last email.
Per my last email.
Yeah, that's
But I think it's,
that's such
I don't think you'll have
Aggressive.
fake friends if people know where they lie with you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel all three of us are the same way. If anybody meets you, you know exactly where you're lying with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny too, because I assume that unless I know otherwise, that I'm on good terms with you.
Yeah.
My baseline assumption is that
just
I'm on
assume
good
that.
terms with you.
Well, so many people, and that's why I hate the text. That's why I hate the text message has become such the profound or the primary source of communication, because there's no context to it.
Yeah.
And I think Key and Peele have a
Yeah.
have a sketch where it's like, you want to go? Yes, I'd love to go. Oh, really? And it's like
I'll see you at 10. I can't wait.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And it just,
I can't wait. Like,
there's no context
genius, yeah.
to what's going on, or no context. And you have to, so many people are so quick to assume things. So make yourself impossible to be misunderstood. I love that. Staying in your lane. Learn to stay in your lane. I think this is what causes people a lot of grief. And what's worse is if you are a person that is a lily pad hopper, if you are this week I'm this, next week I'm that, now I'm on this craze, now I'm the NFT guru. Like if you are someone that hops around, right? Everybody sees that, and your credibility starts to drive. It starts to drive right into the ground. And if it is one thing to pivot to something else, if that pivot makes sense, like for example, if you think about like in basketball, like the guy's not going to pass the ball. The point guard's not going to get the ball and pass it to a hockey goalie. Right. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. Like you can move the ball around the court, which is fine within what you do. But if you
stay in the same game,
you got to stay in the same game. And I know people, and I see people that have jumped around so much that nobody takes anything they do seriously.
It's funny in what I do. It's everything I do is actually very closely related.
Yeah.
People will say, oh, you're in real estate and car accidents. Like, how does that work? It's like, well, because I negotiate. I'm a professional negotiator.
Yeah.
So I negotiate car insurance accidents with insurance adjusters, and I negotiate real estate deals with real estate brokers or developers or whatever, and I also do business litigation, which is business negotiation. But it's
Yeah.
all
It's the same
business
skill.
negotiation.
It's the same skill set.
and negotiation.
Yeah, it's all the same. And people go, well, I thought car accidents were something special. I'm like, no. It's about negotiation. It's about setting up to have the best arguments possible in this realm. So,
Well, like for example, though, but you're not saying I'm a great weightlifter, so I'm a good tap dancer.
yeah.
It's not the same set of skills are not involved with that. So it doesn't matter. So listen, if you're somebody that hasn't decided what you want to be, what you want to do, that's fine. But pick a lane. You got to decide on something and you got to stick with it.
Or at least don't pick 10 lanes. I can, like, there are people where they go, I have interests in this, that, and the other. I say, okay, fine.
You can have interest, but being like today, some guy just drilled me about roofing. I'm not a roofer. Let me give you to my guy I keep saying to call, but you keep calling me. I don't know what you're asking me.
Well, that was Jack Welch's.
I fund it. That's it.
Jack Welch's number one thing as the CEO of GE was, I want to get people around me that can answer all of those questions about these different divisions. I can't know all of this stuff.
Yeah.
My lane is this. I manage the people that manage the things.
Yes.
So my lane is managing the people that manage the things, and I'm smart enough to know that in plastics, it's different than petrochemicals, which is different than weapons. It's all GE. I'm the CEO of all of it, but I can't tell you the specifications of our nuclear weapons division.
No.
Right? It's generally electric.
Generally sort of electric.
Generally lots of things going on, right? But again, that's still a lane, and I agree with that.
But how many times you as a business owner, your issues you come across is because people get out of their lane? How many times?
Yeah, we got all the time.
60%?
All the time. And listen,
your issues are from that?
And listen, here's the thing too. I don't want you to hear, like, if you're an unhappy tortilla maker at a restaurant, I'm not saying you have to be a tortilla maker the rest of your life. I'm just saying if you pivot to something being different, you gotta stay in it long enough that it makes sense. And when I was younger, I spent so much time in the restaurant business and did that. And then there was we tried to do this multi-level marketing business, and that kind of didn't work. And then we did this other business, and then we did this. It kind of felt like I was drifting. It wasn't really until I found real estate that was kind of, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And all of the other businesses that we have are all vertically integrated, somehow tied to this business. So I don't think it's a big leap when I say, when people ask what I do, and if you look at my signature, it says everything real estate, because literally at this point, it's everything real estate.
So when you say stay in your own lane, what's your perspective? Because like you said, you probably gained a lot of knowledge from doing an MLM. You probably gained a lot of knowledge from doing not just vitamins, but also restaurant. But so to say, stay in your lane and pick a lane, it's like, well,
But he wasn't
you can be in that lane for a while.
For a while, yeah. Be in that. I think what you said is more to the point, which was, pick one lane to be in. Don't try to drive in 9. Yeah. Because when you drive in 9, you're
spread all over.
You're just not gonna get anywhere.
Right.
And it's a mess. But I think also, becoming a better you, a real good key to that is shortcut that anybody will tell you, man, is find a good mentor. And I think finding a good mentor is hyper important. So I want to talk about a couple things in life that will help you find a good mentor. Now, the first thing is, so many people, and I get DMs and it's like, hey, can you mentor me? Well, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Tell me what I need to do.
What does that mean? Or what's in it for me and these things? And I've agreed to mentor people if they have a good story, they have a good reason, or they have a good cause behind them. Like, you need to tell me, like, here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm trying to go. Here's where I think you can help me get there. Here's what's in it for you. Like, I loved Cody Sperber's story when he was in here. Sure. If you go back and listen to him with his mentors like, look, you're going to give me half on everything you do until I tell you no. Actually, no, he didn't even say that. He said, you're going to give me what I tell you you're going to give me on every deal until we're done. To the point where Cody got pissed off at him like 2 years in. The guy's like, I've been waiting for you to fire me for a year. You don't need me anymore. There you go. And it was the final lesson. I love that.
And what Cody did was find somebody that's on their way out of it, right? Go find somebody that's retired that still doesn't want to retire, have the knowledge, right? Don't find somebody that's working 60, 70 hour a week and expect them to let you in on business. Like, especially you guys, right? Like, you have NDA signed on stuff. You can't have people, can I sit in on one of your meetings? No, you can't.
Yeah, and I have kids and stuff. I'm trying to feed my own family first, Who is your mentor?
If I had a mentor right now, You know, the funny thing, the biggest mentor I had in my life is a guy is a guy that actually passed away. It was one of my buddies, Rick Wells, and he passed away years ago. And he was the guy that kind of first was like, you know, he was the first guy that would say kind of outlandish shit about what he wanted to do, and you kind of believed it.
So the kind of stims go for stupid or whatever.
Yeah, you were like, wow, this could really happen. And he was kind of the guy that he was the guy that told me to get in sales. He was the guy that told me to go buy Kirby, you know, sell Kirby vacuum cleaners or sell cars that have a PhD in sales. I mean, that was the guy. That was it. And over the years, depending on what I'm doing, I have people I can call and lean into.
Yeah.
I try to find people that are good at what they already do. But when I call them, again, I always position the ass with them. I'm very smart with how I call them. It's always like, I have something for you. Like I never ask somebody to do something for me, right? Unless I can do something of value for them. Case in point, right? When I first became friends with Steve Sims, blue fishing was first coming out, right? So I'm like, all right, how can I get Sims to come in and talk to our agent? This is before we were friends. And I said, how can I get him to kind of come on and talk to our agents, right? So I said, he's got this book coming out. My sister has a very large radio show in Denver. So I called my sister and I said, hey, would you like this guy on your show? I think he'd be a cool guest. He's got some great stories. He's, you know, a cool guy. Would you like him on there? And he said, sure. And so I literally reached out straight to Steve and I said, hey, would you want to go? I got something for you. Because most of the time when I call people, that's my standard message. I have something for you. Call me back. Now, don't just say that and then have nothing. But I called and said I have something for you. Yeah. And then he called me back.
Words of affirmation.
So he called me back and I said, I know you're launching this book. My sister has the #1 talk radio show in Denver. I talked to her about you. I can get you a spot. And he was like, great. And as soon as then it was like, can I do anything for you? Actually, you could. It'd be great if you came on and just spent 30 minutes with my agents. No problem. Done. And even if he would have said no, it would have been fine.
Sure.
Because sometimes you do want to give with no expectation of reciprocation. But if you're trying to get a mentor, show them that you can bring value to their life by thinking outside the box with shit they might need.
Just connect people. Yeah.
Just connect people. Be the people connector. But I'm going to tell you some things how to blow out your mentor, how to blow them out. Because I had some people that I was mentoring and they were coming in once a week and I was sitting down with them. And they got busy. And first week, they're, oh, can we cancel? Just something came up with something. We got to do something. I said, sure. Yeah, you can cancel. No problem. They did it again.
Yeah.
Right. And when they did it again, this is the conversation that we had. I said, and this is going to sound a little egotistical, but it doesn't. But there's a point to it.
Yeah.
And what I said was, if you had a meeting with Tony Robbins, would you have canceled it? Like, honestly, would you have canceled it? Right. I said, oh, God, no. I said, then I don't need to coach you anymore. And they said, well, you know, why? And I said, well, listen, here's the deal. The reason that you wouldn't cancel a meeting with Tony Robbins is not because it's Tony Robbins. It's because you value the information that's coming out of his mouth so much that you would move heaven and earth to get to it. If you can't even get to my office for a meeting, you're not going to do what I tell you to do anyway. You're just not. So if you're not going to do it, what's the point in both of us doing it?
It's funny. I have a real piece of relationship advice I often use.
Which is what?
Have you ever heard people that talk to their spouses in a certain way and you just go, do you talk to the barista at Starbucks like that?
You know,
and they, of course
I think a vet probably does.
No, but poor vet. But that's just like in life, right? Like you can always tell what someone values by what they do.
Yeah.
So if you don't talk to the Starbucks barista like that, why would you talk to your wife like that?
Yeah. No kidding.
And this is somebody that you share kids with, and a family, or business partner. So just like in life, right? You can always tell what someone values by how they act and what they do.
If it's important to them, it'll get done. If it's not, it's not, right? And we just had this conversation with me and a guy at Utah where people are so disrespectful right now with disrespecting people's time. I don't know what it is, but I feel like these last 2 years, people are getting, and it's not just to me. I mean, they're doing it to, I watched a guy worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Someone did the same thing. I'd love to have lunch with you. Mm-hmm. He sat there for 45 minutes. He's like, I'm done. He goes, if they come in, don't even show them where I'm at, you know.
Did you have a mentor?
Yeah. Norm George out of Utah. He taught me commercial real estate at 18.
And he just brought you under his wing and...
Yeah. I mean, he knew what he's doing. He got a little runner boy. He talked to me at a funeral, right? He knew I could BS. And
he saw you crying at a funeral. It's like, there's easy pickings.
Yeah. No, but he straight up said how much you need a month to live. Pay for college and to live. And I said, and gave out my bare minimum. He's like, that's what you're getting paid. Well, I was, bringing in big deals and stuff. He'd cut me off a piece, but yeah, but I've got, at 18, I was doing hospital deals. At 19, I'm doing hotels, right? Like stuff I should have never. And I tell people all the time, you can't go learn this from watching YouTube. You have to learn it by being in it. Yeah. And that's why go cold call. Go start at the bottom. Don't ask somebody, can I mentor you and just be underneath you and just want to do the big stuff, right?
I got lucky with kind of that situation. Yeah.
Same thing.
My ex's dad had a major real estate development company. I mean,
big.
Huge. Yeah. And his vice president was a developer, ex-military developer. And I always got to go and be a part of these deals. And I'm like 23, 24, 25. I'm negotiating stuff with Walmart.
Right. Yep.
And it's just like, you don't get that opportunity. So you have to go make it happen. It sounds like nepotistic, but I was making like 30-some thousand Canadian. I was being drastically underpaid for a college grad. People were making double the money, but I wanted to be... I wanted the opportunities to do big things more than I cared about the money at the time.
Well, there are people right now that if they'd let me, I'd go work for them for free for a year.
Well, here's the point. But see, that's a good point. If people are listening to this and they're like, where am I going to get a mentor? Where am I going to get somebody that, is doing this to take an interest in me? Where am I going to do that? I think, one of the oldest adages that you get pounded into the ground is, show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Right.
But your friend group can provide some mentorship for you if it's the right friend group.
Absolutely.
If it's the right. And so many people look at their friend groups as just the guys I drink beer with or whoever I hang out with or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you've got to look at who you're hanging around with and say, are they bringing value to me outside of just the laughs? And sometimes, it's good to hang out with some of those people, but you've got to make sure that you're being around people. And here's the thing. If you feel like you don't have anything to offer some of these people, or you're hanging around circles with people that have a much higher level of success, sometimes just being a good friend and not asking them for shit is a way to get in with these people. Like we sat here with the snack daddy, man, Ari Gold. And it was just like, how did you get in with all these celebrities? He's like, I never asked him for anything.
I never asked him for shit.
Not one thing.
My daughter, I happen to know this celebrity, whatever, and she goes, Dad, can you please ask this favor? Absolutely not. Under no circumstance will I ask for that favor. I wouldn't ask for it for me. I'm not going to ask for you. I'm not going to ask for anybody. That's just one of those things where, do you want to maintain a friendship? Because if you do, don't ask people for stuff.
Yeah.
Now there's some stuff where I'd say, hey, we had Jason Egan on here, right? And when I have people in from town, I say, hey, I'm going to bring them by Saw. Right, I'll bring them by your attraction because I want to bring them by and I'll pay.
Yeah, sure. I just want a spot.
I just want a spot.
I'll pay. Just get me a spot.
I just want to pay, but just don't make me deal with the bullshit because I've already done it. Yeah. I've already gone through the ropes. I'm trying to show other people a good time. Yeah. And he's always like, no, I got to cover the. But it's like, no, I'm not asking for that. I promise you. I'll say no, charge me. And then, and good friends will have this thing where it's back and forth of who paid what.
Yeah,
like. I won't let you pay. I snuck the card in before you got a chance.
I mean, look, we were just all in Newport, and it was like, I think somebody asked me, I think it might have been you, Colt, you're like, did I pay you for that meal? I'm like, I don't. My first response was, I don't know. And my second response was, I don't care.
I know you don't, but I just didn't want to send it to the wrong person. No. But no, I am that way.
So John Gifford, congratulations. You got the,
hey, because I don't use Venmo. $60. That's all this guy
Colt just sent me $60.
No, but that is, I've stopped hanging out with people. It's always like, oh, you're just always being the one paying. Or, hey, can you call this person to get, because you know this person? It's like, no, I wouldn't even ask for myself. I'm not asking for, how many times? Can you get me a room here? Could I? Sure. Oh, yeah. Am I going to? No. Could you get me a nightclub? Could I? Yeah. No, it's not happening. That's the most important thing is when you're around that, like, when I was in LA, I was at parties that I had no business being. I was that's how you get into
those parties.
Yeah, but I was and people you saw always ask like, why? I'm like, because I don't care. I don't give a shit who they are.
Yep.
And I'm not a yes sir to them, and I don't. Yeah, like these guys. Oh, you want to go to a nightclub? Sure. Like, let me buy that bottle, and they'd be like, oh, what? Like, you bought the bottle? You can't. You can't be a leech to people.
Well, because people will do that. They'll be, oh, you're an attorney. Hey, let me talk to you about my case or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm in a bar.
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
Yeah, what are we talking about?
This is why I'm here. So I'm not working.
It's one of the advantages about being in real estate is there's a million people for people to talk to about real estate deals. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. But I do want to talk about this because we were just all together. And one of my points here is this. And if you are someone that is drifting along and you don't not having a lot of success, I would be willing to bet also in this lovely day and age. I want to say two things about social media, but in this lovely day and age, number one, I'll bet two things about you. I bet you're consuming more than you're producing, meaning that you are not thinking about your own life. You are consuming the lives of others through social media. And I have found there are times when we all get that compulsive going through. You probably haven't seen a lot of me on social media lately because honestly, I just decided I hit this point where I'm like, I got to get rid of things that don't bring me joy.
Yep.
And I just found myself I get no joy from social media. There's no joy in it.
Oh, I completely disagree.
You get
me and
Instagram.
Chris have some good joys. On
Facebook has lost.
I don't even get on Facebook.
Instagram, man. Wow.
You get joy from the Instagram.
I get smiles from ear to ear. It's
me and Chris live on Instagram.
Right, but here's the thing. Yeah,
the
jokes and memes are good. But what I found was I found myself seeing people that for whatever reason I'm connected to that are living a false life that is just a fallacy, and I just get
skip.
I do.
I just skip over that.
Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't bring me a lot of joy. But also, I think because of this perceived level of success that you're just automatically supposed to have, because apparently everybody does, I think that people's ego is standing in front of them becoming successful. And a great story of that is my buddy Noel Bowman, who we were with this weekend. And Noel, I think we had Noel on?
Yeah, we just had
Noel's
him.
been on. Yeah. He was on. We've had him on. But again, to recap his story, he was at a place where he was, he was broke, man. He hit a rock bottom on there. And, he had to swallow his ego to take a goofy job as the manager of the ice cream scooper place with a hat. It was like $100,000 job, but he had to swallow his pride to take that job. And I think there's some times when there's things that could get you ahead that your ego won't let you do.
Sure.
And because it's perceived as bad, like going backwards. Like for example, like right now, I had a little wrestle with this yesterday because I'm selling out of my interest in the airplane just because it's not penciling for me. And I'm selling out some other stuff because, again, doesn't bring me joy. I'm getting rid of it. And part of me was like, in the back of my head, what are people going to think? People are going to gossip that I'm going broke because I'm selling this stuff. And I'm like, why do I give a shit what people think? Like, as much as I try to do egos away, I try to do stoicism, I try to pound it down, it still comes creeping back, man.
That's why we work on it. That's why we work on it.
Yeah, it comes creeping up.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
You don't read Marcus Aurelius and all of a sudden you're like, completely just and benevolent.
Yeah.
It gets work. They call it practice, right?
Yeah.
They say showering is like motivation. Right? It works for a little bit, right? But you got to do it over and over. Motivation's like showering. It's like you can't expect to be. I'm perfectly motivated from this day forward because
So wait, that poster I bought that I'm going to put my.
I know it's got an eagle. It says freedom.
You got to put more than just one. You got to put 4 around.
Hang in there, kitty.
4 posters around.
One poster per day.
There's not one person on this earth that doesn't have an ego.
Yeah.
Not one, and it will creep up.
But again, like you look at Noel, had he not swallowed his ego and taken that first job, he would not be where he is today. And where he is today is pretty fucking awesome.
You should have some ego. I'm not against ego. It's about managed ego. And it's about self-awareness of what your ego is.
But here's the thing. I think ego serving you from a place of self-reflection is fine. I think ego concerned about the outward appearance of others is
controlling
is
you. It's slavery.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
Who was that?
Well, let's talk about setting some goals.
Which one?
The shirt you have?
Which one?
Oh yeah, kill your masters.
Yeah. Kill your masters.
No, that's a Killer Mike thing, right? From Run the Jewels, and it's the whole concept. And people always look at me funny when I wear it, but I'm like, why wouldn't that be your baseline? Yeah. Kill all of your masters. If you have a master, right? If you have any masters, kill them.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. Like, you don't need a master. A master is different than like a mentor.
Yvette doesn't listen to this, does she?
But there are masters and there are mentors. If your wife is your master, that's an unhealthy relationship. Well, nobody should ever control. Have you ever seen people like, I do this for my mom because if I don't, she's going to guilt me into this, that? I'm like, get rid of your mom. I actually mean that. If you have people in your life that are manipulative and controlling you, and they're not concerned about your happiness, they're just concerned about theirs. Why do you need them in your life? I don't care if you grew up together. I don't care if you're biologically related to each other. This is true for everyone but your children who are just monsters.
I don't know if this is going to. I don't know if this works, but I read this the other day. I thought it was interesting, worth a try. It said when people are manipulative and trying to argue with you, you just look at them and yell, "Do you want some sand or not?" Can you confuse them? Just try to confuse them, and it diffuses the situation. I don't know. I'm going to try that. Let me know how it goes.
You confuse people when they're so. You can mess with people. I always say, throw something stupid in a business transaction. Watch people get so upright. Oh,
do you know why Led
can't
Zeppelin
do that? And then you go with the.
Do you know why Led Zeppelin had a rider with the green M&Ms? To make sure people were paying attention.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, you're exactly right. I know. I did that.
Yeah. So they'd say, okay, we need this, because they had a bunch of contraptions and equipment and all this stuff, and they could tell if they needed to go back over and fine tooth comb the rider. Right, if they walked into the stage and there was a bowl of green M&Ms, it meant they read it. It meant they were detail oriented enough so that they could actually, knew
it got done.
Yeah,
did not know that.
Yeah, that is actually a true story. I don't know if it's a true story, but I've heard it as well.
I don't have
it's either true or a very well propagated lie.
The logic behind it makes a ton of sense.
It does. It really does. It really does. Well, let's talk about, before we get to goal setting, let's talk about self-discipline, because I think that's something that's very important. And there were a lot of times in my life when I did not have self-discipline. Two things. I think I've told this story before. I don't know if I have or not, but when I first did the insurance company and I relocated down to Tampa, and things were going very well in Florida, and my number one sales guy down there was, kind of blowing off his leads and going to play golf and screwing around instead of working and doing this. And we were kind of losing money on the leads, but he was still the number one salesman and, still doing well enough. But as the owner of the company, when the company starts to suffer, you got no choice. You have to do what? You got to fire him. Well, you got to fire him. Yeah. But the problem was the salesman was me, because I was CEO, I was salesman, I was everything else in this company. And I did not have the self-discipline to do what I needed to do every day. So, self-discipline being really defined as, doing what you don't want to do today to get to your long-term goals. And a lot of people don't have that self-discipline. So if you're somebody that's self-disciplined, this is what works for me. This is how I got motivated. I had to get some middle management. And I even did this a million years ago when the phone was like, I think I had a Sidekick or something, a Flippy, whatever.
Awesome.
But the idea was every single thing that I had to do went into my phone. As my calendar, my phone, and that became gospel. It did not matter what else came up. If it went on my calendar, it happened. Like I would have to start saying no to things I can't. So I would start scheduling the things that I had to do. And if you're someone that is a procrastinator, can't get off tap dead zero, can't do those things, start scheduling yourself and start getting going. Because if you get the ball rolling just a little bit, it makes sense. Right now here at Simply Vegas, I walked through today, and it was quiet, man. It was like, it was quiet. I wasn't today. Today was kind of busy, but yesterday it was kind of quiet. And, you can feel the market, right? You can feel the real estate market, and you can feel it kind of coming. Tomorrow will be the first of the real estate purges here in Las Vegas. And I'm actually going to do a video for our office tomorrow where I'm actually going to play the purge noise. Now, what I mean by that is this. Tomorrow will be the first time we've had major constriction in the amount of real estate transactions that are closing and the MLS dues are due. So there are a lot of people tomorrow that are going to question if this is the right business for them. Should I do this? Am I going to make this? Am I going to pay this bill? Am I going to make this investment myself? So there will be a lot of people that cease to do what we do tomorrow.
Huh.
A lot.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, tomorrow that'll happen tomorrow. There'll be a lot of people that cease to do what we do. And the story, the reality of it is this, right? You don't have to do a lot to survive up and down this market. I've been doing this now for 16, 17 years. And all you got to do is show up. You just got to show up one more day. You just got to pick the phone up and make one more call. You just got to go on one more appointment. You just have to send one more mail. You just have to keep pushing forward.
3 feet from gold.
And it's very difficult to do when everything out there is, oh man, the interest rates are up. People are on the fence.
all that shit.
There's so much. But here's the point. So what happens is, especially in this industry, is people start to say, if I just stay home, I don't have to face it. Like, it's easier for me to stay home and work in my quote unquote home office that all realtors say they have, and they don't. It's easier for me to just stay here and ignore it than it is to go face it. But for those people that show up and face it, for the people that come in and put on a suit and get ready and come to work and get on the phone, those are the people that are going to survive, and not just survive through the downturn, but do incredibly well.
Yeah, when you have that kind of personality, that's so. I'm one of those people, John. We're talking about, what do you do? I hire people. Now, that sounds a little bit like a privileged argument, but if I don't want to get up and go train, I hire one. I hire a trainer. I get a buddy. I make myself accountable through other people, because I know, just like you said, would you show up for Tony Robbins? I'd show up for a trainer because I don't want to disappoint somebody by not being there. So I hire one. I take my excuses away through strategic choices.
We're going to talk about that next, which is kind of funny, because you talk about if goal setting is what we did last year, or a year and a half ago, it was the $50 Fit Club, which we did that, which was awesome. Which for those, if you don't know, you will move faster away from pain than you will towards pleasure. You will.
Someone
you'll
owes me a dinner for that, by the way.
I think we do. I don't know who it was. Yeah.
Who's got the kitty?
Well, Mendoza had to mortgage his house by the time I was done putting it in there, because he would skip all the time. But for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we had a deal where you had to work out every day. Just do something, 45 minutes, and you had to send a video to our text chat of yourself working out. It could be a brisk walk. It could be whatever, blah, blah, but you had to do something.
Go do something.
And if you didn't send that video, it was a $50 fine per occurrence every day. And then that went into a kitty for us to go to dinner at the end of 6 weeks. But again, there were a lot of days even through that process that I didn't want to do anything, but I did it.
I got my ass up and got on a treadmill.
I did. So, dude, if you're having trouble at life right now, find an accountability partner where the result is bad.
Create some pain for yourself.
Create some of that.
Go Bullworth with it.
Yeah, totally. To Bullworth.
If you don't work out today, this guy's going to shoot you in the head.
Yeah, maybe not quite that far, but yeah, but that's
somewhere between that and Bullworth.
But that's the point. That's the point. And if you're this kind of a nice little segue, I guess, into goal setting, talking about goal setting, because so many people set these goals and they say, I want to make $100,000. That's my goal. And I ask them the question, why? And they can't answer it. I don't know. Just
sounds good.
Like, it sounds good. You have got to, in setting goals, you got to attach a why to those goals. There's got to be something you're going to do with that money, or that money is inconsequential. Because at the end of the day, money is just paper. It's what the money does that matters.
The freedom that attaches to it.
Yeah, you got to get there.
Yeah, it means killing your masters. Honestly, to me, like, I was thinking about that. We were talking about things and cars, and there was that quote I read where it says, looking at your savings account and seeing a positive balance and still telling yourself you're broke is a form of a strong mind.
Yeah.
Right. And it's because I want the freedom. I don't want to go out and have this thing that makes me look cool. I don't have the ego that says, look at the truck I drove here. Like, I don't mind. Again, I don't care. I don't attach certain things to certain things. And I kind of want to keep living that way, because I would rather war chest than have the things that become a liability and work for the things. They say in Fight Club, the things you buy tend to own you. Yeah,
no, for sure, dude. I was watching. There's a documentary on Netflix right now about money, and everybody said you should make your kids watch it. So I wanted to watch it first, just to see if it was entertaining enough. And I watched it. I mean, and it's very basic financial advice, and it's very. I mean, it is, but it's literacy that most people don't have when it comes to money. Right. So I would recommend everybody watch. I don't know the exact name of it. I just know it ends in money. So if you go to Netflix and search money, it's on there. So The Truth About Money, I think, is what it's called. But I will say there was something from it that I gained that I thought was pretty cool, which was, one of the counselor people was talking to somebody that said, look, when you go to buy something, ask yourself, do I like it? Do I want it? Do I need it? Do I love it? And they said, then take those answers. 2 of those answers go together, and 2 of those answers go together. I love it and I need it go together. I want it and I like it. And then she said the most profound thing, or at least profound to me. She said, people that live in the I want, I like are never happy. Short-term hits, dopamine, short-term quicks, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you focus everything, and I thought it was not just for stuff you buy, but if you focus in life in life, if you focus on things you love and things you need, your existence will be much easier and much simpler.
Sure. I totally agree.
Because there's stuff like, for example, when I was talking about downsizing stuff I have, like the boat, right?
Yeah.
I like the boat.
But looking back on it.
No, it's $130,000 paperweight sitting on a lift at Lake Mead. I need to sell it. It's got to go. It's got less than 10 hours on it. It's crazy that it's sitting out there dying in the sun. It's crazy. I like it, but I don't love it.
I think you had good intentions.
I did. I did.
Your intentions were good. And because you've gone and done it, it'll probably dissuade you from ever doing it again in the future.
Right,
and that's why, like, a lot of times these young men, or whatever women do, you spend a ton on a purse, you spend a ton on a car. I know they're not the same worlds, but a young man will go out. It's like that Pearl Jam song. A man buys the Corvette trying to get the girl ends with the mechanic, right? And at the end of the day, you have to go make that mistake. My dad bought a Camaro or whatever when he was a young guy. He was putting, his entire paycheck into the gas tank. He learned that lesson. He drove a K-car when we were growing up because he did that thing and he learned from it.
But let me ask you this though, and I think this is a husband-father question, because I think nothing causes me more internal anguish than when I spend a tremendous amount of money on something that I think everyone's going to like, and then no one gives a rat's shit.
Yep.
And that's when I'm like, so I tell my wife, I go, I'm not mad, like selling the Sprinter, right?
Yep.
Which I love. I love taking the Sprinter down to the football games.
It's a blast, yeah.
Nobody in my family cares. They could care less. So why am I spending?
You're doing it for you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing. But here's the thing. But I can't even do it for me because I'm sitting there watching them not care, and now I'm irritated about the whole thing.
Now
it's an irritant.
Supposed to be enhancing your life is now taking away. When you buy a Ferrari, and you got to sit it and put it on a trickle charger, wrap it up, you better love that goddamn car because it's going to cost you $1,000 a month just to operate.
Well, no. My wife asked me when I was talking about selling all this stuff. She goes, well, "Are you going to keep the Maserati?" I said, "Oh, I love the Maserati."
Yeah,
that goes right.
For Dad.
That goes right in the I love category, and it's only got 2 seats. I only need nobody or one to like it with me. That's all I need.
That's right.
I don't need. I can't have 3.
But you'll find that
unhappy faces staring at me in the Maserati.
If you live by that, you'll realize how much you do not need in your life.
Oh my God.
Like you're sitting there, people are like, I need this, I need that. No, you don't. Like you don't need 30 pairs of jeans, right? You don't need 100 pairs of shoes.
Well, hold on.
I'm sorry. Like I don't get the whole tennis shoe craze and stuff like that.
Shoe for a different occasion.
I don't get the shoe thing.
Sometimes you got to make Raider for Air Force Ones,
Like you always hear people complaining, "Oh, I can't go with you on a trip," or "I can't do this," and you're like, "Stop." Well, I
think that's what I'm trying to get to eventually. Is money is for one thing,
freedom,
and it's for experiences. It's not for anything else.
Yeah,
and I think, how great was our trip? Right,
it was great.
We all left.
Newport House. That's a love.
No, but I'm saying like everybody decided like 12 hours before to go on a 3-day trip.
I know.
Right?
See,
I don't know about all you guys. That was 3-4 days. I'm like, yeah.
I was too, but those dates change. If you're spending money stupidly, you have to have a job. You can't do stuff like that. Freedom is huge.
Yeah, it's just really a matter of having money for experiences, and that's part of that. Is having.
But that's the thing about you. All of your friends are entrepreneurs. None of your friends have an employer.
Do I have any close friends that have an employer?
You don't.
I don't. None of them.
Not a single one.
Oh my God, we're all unemployed.
Bunch of losers.
All of them.
I technically have a W-2 check. I pay myself a W-2.
Yeah, I have an employer too.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? None of us have a boss, right? Because here's the thing. I've tried to kill all my masters.
Yeah.
Right? And that's because that's what gets them in the way of my freedom.
Yeah.
So when you work for yourself, right, it's a certain mindset of somebody who can be comfortable not having that check at the end of the week. And you know what's funny? You'll go to get financing on something like about some buildings, and some units, and whatever. And when you go to get financing, they see you as a greater risk than your own employees. Like my employee is less of a risk from an actuarial and banking point of view than I am the person that actually provides them their checks, just as a interesting point of view.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah.
So not even banks understand how risks work.
Isn't that wild though? That's beyond me every time that happens.
No.
Beyond me.
I get it.
I don't know. I love all this stuff about, but it all comes down to freedom. I think everything comes down to freedom, right? And that's what your life goal should be.
And I think again, but people think, there's somebody listening to this like, oh, it's easy for you guys to say because you got money. I didn't always have money. We didn't always have money. And there's a lot of discipline involved in getting to a point where you can live like this. There's a lot.
John,
there's a lot of discipline.
You grew up. You grew up divorced, right? You had a mom.
Yeah.
That was, didn't have a pile of money to go do a bunch of stuff. Colt, your parents were the multimillionaires growing up?
No.
My dad's a teacher. My mom worked, doing data entry and as a minimum wage secretary.
Yeah.
Not a single person is a silver spoon kid here.
Yeah. No, but the point being is, like, there was times in my life when I was struggling. I mean, there are people there's somebody listening to this right now, and it might be you. You're listening to this, and again, you're caught up in the drift, man. You don't know which way is up. You don't know which way you're going. You're just going with the way the wind blows. And I'm telling you, with a little bit of effort, a little bit of self-discipline, you can turn it around, man, because if I can do it.
You can turn it around quick.
I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. We can all do it. It doesn't matter. But again, I think the biggest pinpoint in the changer for me, and I'm going to sum it up with this thing, was people ask me what the biggest change in me was, right? And of course it was, The Apprentice was a great catalyst because that was changing my room. That changed the network. That changed the people I was around. And I started hearing how these people thought differently than the people I had been around. I had been around a bunch of people that had an employee mentality, had that mentality, and then changed being around those people. And then, when I met my wife, who was the first person that I perceived really in my head that was out of my league. You know what I mean? It was like all of a sudden like, whoa, this is out of my league here. Like I got to pick it up and I got to go. So all of my, success really became originally based on me feeling like I needed to be a better man for her. And now, even when, stuff happens and, because sure, there's days in all of our businesses where you just want to be like, you know what I'd like to do? I just want to
sell off.
Just want to take a Molotov cocktail and throw it in the front window.
Just like War of the Roses.
Yeah.
I want to smash in your face.
I just want to burn the whole place down. I just want to do it. We all have those days.
Sure.
We all have those days. And when I think about those days I hit it, I always think, my daughter's almost 13. She's got 5 more years at home. I got 4 years of college. I got responsibilities here. And that becomes the why. And nothing. And, some days, everybody thinks that owning a real estate company is a glamorous love of life. And some days you just got to eat a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
It's actually not some days, a lot of days you got to do that.
There are days you learn.
And there's days when there's no learning about it. You're just shoveling it in because you just got to take it in the teeth, and that's what you got to do.
But that's like you said, though. You get up, you put the suit on, you come to work the next day.
You get up, you put the suit on, and you keep going. But the next day, I don't do it. I don't do it for me. I don't do it because I want another round of getting kicked in the teeth. I do it because I have responsibility to my family to come here and do that.
And there's more good days than bad days. Let's be honest.
Of course there is.
The minute there's not, maybe you want to switch your lanes.
Of course there is. But the point being is, you've got to have a bigger reason than yourself to want to do things in a lot of cases.
Sure.
And here's the best part: if you don't have a significant other, you don't have kids yet, you're not in that situation. Becoming a better you will make you much more attractive to get in that situation. Oh, yeah. I mean, I look back at me, when I was younger, and God, I can think back through my 20s and through the girls I dated, and it was always like, I was always, to a certain extent, looking for some of these girls to mother me, to take care of me, and this and that. I dated some girls that were well off, and it was like, oh, I'll move in with you. And it was like, dude, what in the world? I look back at that guy now, and I'm like, who was that guy?
Yeah, but you got to have a certain allowance for it. Like if you're a young guy and if you're listening to this and you're floundering and you have all these sort of things, there's nothing wrong with going through it, right? There's nothing wrong with taking some shots, messing up, go for, do this, that, feeling down a lot. That's totally a part of a normal existence, right? Yeah. It's just, if you believe in yourself, you're just going to be that guy that gets dressed the next day.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Like John says, you're not going to get there. Like I see my single friends and I'm like, dude, there's no way you should be out of shape. You don't have kids. You don't have a wife. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like you should not. When I was single, I could have had an 8-pack and still done so much shit, right? Like you should not be out of shape.
Yeah, but
you
shouldn't
be at the thing.
20s,
you're also,
No. I'm telling you right now, If you did not have kids and you did not have a wife to go home to, you could go gym for 2 hours a night, and you could do. There's no excuses. I'm sorry.
I don't
not being in shape. I'm
you
not
know,
saying an 8 pack.
I think
out of shape.
And Gidget, if you're listening to this, don't take it the wrong way. But I think about this sometimes, and I think if I didn't have my family, I'd be a mess.
A fucking monster.
I'd be an absolute mess, dude. I would be an
Colt
absolute
and I would just be
mess.
smoking cigars.
Smoking cigars.
No, can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine? Oh my God, I'd be an absolute mess.
Well, that's because you know what you have now. But if you didn't, like I said, I find no excuses when I see single people like, oh, I can't go to work.
Hey, to that point,
I will say this: I don't understand why there are heavy super celebrities.
Yeah, you're paid
That I
off
don't
your
get.
looks.
That's your job. That's your job. You can hire a chef to be. You can hire a chef and a trainer to live at your house.
that was to my point.
conversation.
Hiring a trainer, hire people to do the things, get you to do the things you don't want to do. Now, to the other point, you guys brought up something interesting too. If you are in your 20s, don't think that you're talking to guys in their 40s or 50s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait.
Don't
I'm
get
in my
married.
30s.
Well, you are.
Come on.
Yeah,
Oh, Colt's in his 30s.
kicking fucking door down.
Well, no. I mean,
Don't get into a relationship and stay in a relationship that isn't positive, that isn't motivating. You owe nobody anything. Get married when you're in your 35 or
30s.
older. Do not get married in your 20s. That is the only advice I would give to a young man that I think is true across the board. I don't care. High school sweethearts, you need to get out there. You need to go find out who you are. Right? Don't be a codependent human being.
well, and here's the truest thing you'll also hear, which is I firmly believe that back when I used to give this advice to younger men when I would whatever, but if you're dating a girl less than 24 years old, she will be a completely different human being by age 26. Something about that 25th birthday. I mean, it's like
it's not
But
close.
it's 18.
Different
You're
human.
different from 18 to 23,
and
23,
27
26.
and 27
Yeah.
Women should get married when they're 26, 27. Men should be like 33, 34, 35.
Yeah, we're children until then.
No, but they are. Men do not become men. 20-some-year-old men cheat on their girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
Men in their 30s don't. I swear to God.
Okay, how old are you in your brain right now?
Oh, fuck, I'm so tired, John.
33.
60. About
60.
34.
Yeah.
34.
See,
I'm 42
early
tomorrow.
third-
Turning
early
42
30s.
tomorrow. But I don't feel any different than 31. I feel emotionally 60 sometimes because I don't feel like I need to prove myself
Yeah.
in that.
I always mentally 34 is my number.
But here's the thing. If you're a man though and you're not doing physical activities,
Yeah.
you need to
You
start.
feel like you're 100.
But you need to make sure your body's exhausted before your mind's ever going to be worth a shit too.
Well, here's something I just had. I think somebody said the same thing to me. Like, if you're a celebrity, you should be in shape. You're getting paid to look good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my point is, I don't care what line of work you are. You're getting paid to look good. You're making more money the
This
better
is a good
you look.
point.
That's 100% true.
This is a good
I
point.
don't care what
It
people
is-
want to say.
Find
Yeah,
me a jacked guy at the gym. Find me a guy at the gym who's jacked out of his mind. I don't care if you don't like the aesthetic. This has nothing to do with advocating for that. Find me a guy who is in excellent, jacked up shape.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have the opportunity to be with very attractive women or males of the opposite sex or same sex or whatever.
If John was 350 pounds, 5'10", balding, Simply Vegas would not be Simply Vegas. Sorry to say that. It's true.
So you're saying you find John attractive? And
No,
that's why
I'm
you work
saying-
here.
I could have hit that. I could have hit that
And that
pitch.
you plan on
I could
getting
have
him
hit
to
that
break
pitch
up with
so
his
far
wife.
out. Yeah.
After Newport, we had to share bunk beds.
I could have
together. No.
smoked that pitch
No,
out of the
but
right over the center field
No,
wall.
but I'm being dead serious. Do you think it would?
Well, when you're taller, if you're good looking and tall, like
Most
these are
CEOs are
advantages.
6'2",
Yeah, I know.
good looking,
boy.
in
It's true.
shape.
It's
It's the
true.
truth. No,
It doesn't-
people don't want to think they're getting paid for
Don't
looking good.
discourage the unattractive men.
You
Yeah,
could
but if
always
you're
be
unattractive, if
you
you're
can
an
make
unattractive
yourself
man,
good looking.
Well, listen,
Put a
you can be
nice suit on,
attractive
be
by
in
getting
shirt.
jacked.
Listen, the Kardashians should prove anything. You're not unattractive. You're just poor.
poor.
You're just poor.
Look at Jeff Bezos.
Well,
Look at
guys,
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff
Good call.
Bezos, I hope that some of this helped you today. I hope you took some sense. I apologize if some of these thoughts are disjointed because, again, these are just my notes. They have not been correctly organized into a chapter of the book, which they will be very, very soon, coming out to a bookstore near you. But remember, Colt, if they want to get in touch with you, how do they find you?
Colt _Amidan Instagram.
And how about you, counselor, for all your negotiating needs for either?
Including car accidents, all those kinds of stuff. At Connel Law LV, 3 L's in Connel Law.
At Connel Law. And of course, you can always follow me at the John Gafford. You can watch this on YouTube. If you are, give us a like, give us a subscribe. And if you've seen these clips rolling anywhere else, just hey man, comment back on stuff that resonated with you, stuff you maybe didn't, whatever you want to know. It's kind of little live feedback. I like it. And if you're going to move, keep moving forward. See you next time. Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com, where we'll share any links things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.